What effect do you think having not passed these bills had on Tuesday's election results?
I think that getting the job done, producing results for the American people is always very positive. Let's see what the data is as it comes out. But there's no question, if we, the more results we can produce in a way that is people understand in their lives, the better it is.
Okay, so Speaker Pelosi just yesterday talking about the impact of inaction on the Hill. That's her view of the matter. Jim Messina, former Deputy White House Chief of Staff, Obama-Biden campaign manager, now CEO of the Messina Group. Jim, good morning to you.
Morning.
We have questions here. I'm going to start with the New York Times editorial. It's very interesting, and it's very long. We just picked out a paragraph. Tuesday's results are a sign that significant parts of the electorate are feeling leery of a sharp leftward push in the party, including on priorities like Build Back Better. The concerns of more centrist Americans about a rush to spend taxpayer money, a rush to go to the government, should not be dismissed. End quote. What do?
Well, look, what they need to do is make a proactive case to the American public about what they're doing. And instead, we've had month after month of kind of Democrat on Democrat crime as we negotiate these bills forever. And so there is no Democratic message. And what we need to do is pass these bills and take our argument to the American people. And I kind of agree with Pelosi. You know, what you're seeing is voters are just sick of process. This was true in Trump when they couldn't repeal Obamacare. This was true in Obama. Voters don't like process. They want results, and they want to get stuff done. And we need to call the question on these bills and move forward.
So Bill read to you, Jim, from the New York Times editorial page, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who I think fair to say, a spokesperson for the Progressive Caucus, she had a very different take. Listen to her here.
I know that Virginia was a huge bummer. And honestly, if anything, I think that the results show the limits of trying to run a fully 100% super moderated campaign that does not excite, speak to, or energize a progressive base. And frankly, we weren't even really invited to contribute on that race.
So is the problem that it hasn't gone too far left enough and energizing that base of progressives?
That's a ridiculous argument. We had the highest turnout in Virginia history. Both sides turned out in big numbers. The problem is we lost swing voters. And we lost swing voters for some of the reasons I just talked about. So it's not about enthusiasm. It's not about like there wasn't a base. We had huge turnout. The problem is we didn't do as well in suburban places as we have done. Coalitions don't last forever, and Democrats can't take for granted that we're going to win these suburban women that elected Joe Biden and gave the Democrats the House and Senate.
Jim, I've always wondered about this. When you reflect on Obamacare 11 years ago, and the midterms came up, and you lost 63 seats in the House. It was quite extraordinary. Just back on this New York Times piece, it concludes, time to focus on and pass policies with broad support or risk getting run out of office. The moderates, are they willing to die on this hill, do you think, now? Or do they remember the lesson of 11 years ago? What do you think, Jim?
Well, look, when you look at what's in this plan, they're wildly popular things. These things are like 70% support. So we got to stop debating numbers and get to what's actually in the plan, and then talk about the amazing jobs numbers we had today, the tens of millions of people that are getting vaccinated. There's a great story here. All we're talking about, though, is debates in Capitol Hill. And the thing that all three of us can agree with is debates in Capitol Hill.
But Jim, you know, 1.85 trillion, there's a lot of junk in there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, there's a provision that will give tax deductions to newspapers and media companies across America based on the number of employees they have. Is that the job of government?
I'd be careful on that one, Bill, because that's being supported by Rupert Murdoch, and they put it in there for him. So let's be a little careful on that one. But if you look at the whole package, there's some wildly popular things in this package.
With all due respect, and no matter who supports that, I still think that's something we need to know. And the process has just been so fast. Continue.
I'm sorry, but at some point, it has not been this thing for month after month. I mean, come on, man. This isn't fast. This is too slow.
It might, and that could be. I have my last question maybe for you. So Bill Clinton had, John Podesta, who helped him Sherpa things through, and I think that you could say that President Obama had Joe Biden, right, to help him go up to Capitol Hill, and to do that, I would think Mnuchin for Trump, maybe Hank Paulson for President Bush with the financial crisis. Do you think that there needs to be somebody designated? Maybe it's Kamala Harris. I don't know. She used to be in the Senate. But somebody who can help drive for them and help sell what you're trying to say here, which is get away from the numbers and try to actually sell the policy.
Well, I think that's why you saw the president go up to the Hill. I mean, the president has the best relationships of anyone. He, was senator for 3 decades, and this is his job, and he's acknowledged that, and that's why he's gone to the Hill, and that's why I'm sure he's on the phone today making the case to these moderates.
All right, well, we'll see if they get it done, and then we'll see what's in the bill.
Yeah, just to be clear on the speed, Jim, I mean, it was in the Rules Committee, at 10 o'clock, I think, last night, and they had the 72-hour window that we thought they would uphold, and if they go for it and vote for it today, or vote on it anyway, that would blow through that window. That's something we were trying to bring up with Chad. Jim, thank you for your time.
Great to see you. Glad the electricity worked today.
Yeah, very good stuff there. There is something.
Thanks, guys.